Hello friends, how are you? After a long gap, I am coming again with a new video with a new topic. Today we are going to understand about Reserve Bank of India. ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕದ ಕಾರ್ಯಗಳು ಏನಿದಾವೆ, ಅದರ ಜೊತೆ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಮಹತ್ವವಾದ ನೀತಿ ಇರ್ತೈತಿ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮಾನಿಟ್ರಿ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ, ಹಣಕಾಸು ನೀತಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು. ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದ ಕಾರ್ಯಗಳು, ಸಾಂಪ್ರದಾಯಿಕ ಕಾರ್ಯಗಳು ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಕಾರ್ಯಗಳು ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದೇನಿದೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಹಣಕಾಸು ನೀತಿಯ ವಿಧಾನಗಳು ಯಾವಿದಾವೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಹಣದುಬ್ಬರ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಯನ್ನು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ನಿಯಂತ್ರಣ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಪತ್ತು ನಿರ್ಮಾಣವನ್ನು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ನಾವು ನಿಯಂತ್ರಣ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಹಣಕಾಸಿನ ನೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಸೊ ಟುಡೇ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಡೀಲ್ ವಿತ್ Reserve Bank of India, its functions, and then the next part will be monetary policy and the various instruments of monetary policy. So friends, without wasting time, let us move on to our slides, and I request you all, please see the entire video for better understanding about monetary policy of India. So let us move on to the slides. Aftab Bhai from Department of Economics, Shri CMP Government First Grade College, Lokapur. So as I said, Reserve Bank of India and monetary policy. Now let us see the introduction about Reserve Bank of India. The Reserve Bank of India was established following the Reserve Bank of India Act of 1935. So Reserve Bank of India was established as a private bank. By 1949, it was nationalized and it was made as the Reserve Bank of India. At present, Shaktikanta Das is the governor of Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India also has three deputy governors who are B.P. Kanungo, Mahesh Kumar Jain and Michael Patra. Let us start with the functions of Reserve Bank of India. RBI the ಕಾರ್ಯಗಳು. So when you speak about functions of Reserve Bank of India, the functions are broadly divided into two categories: traditional functions and developmental functions or additional functions. So in traditional functions, the first point is Reserve Bank of India acts as a monopoly in issue of currency notes. Okay, ನೋಟು ಚಲಾವಣೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಏಕಸ್ವಾಮ್ಯ ಶಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿರುತ್ತದೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ಅಂದರೆ RBI has a monopoly power to issue currency notes above ₹2 and above. ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ನೋಟ್ ಚಲಾವಣೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತೈತಿ, ಓಕೆ, ₹1 ನೋಟು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ₹2 ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ₹5 ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ₹10 ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ₹20 ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ₹50 ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ₹100, ₹500, ₹2000, ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ನೋಟುಗಳನ್ನು ಯಾರ ಹತ್ರ ಏಕಸ್ವಾಮ್ಯ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇದೆ ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ವಿತ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ದ ₹1 note is issued by central government. Please remember, ₹1 note is printed by the finance ministry, whereas all the other denomination notes are printed by the Reserve Bank of India. The ₹1 note is defined not as a bank note but a coin. Remember, this is very important point for you all to understand, that ₹1 note is not a bank note. It is to be considered as coin in the form of paper. That is the reason ₹1 note is minted by the central government. So ₹1 note doesn't promise to pay because it is the unit of currency. You will understand this what I am trying to say here in the next slide, when I will show you the picture of ₹1 coin and ₹2 note. So because it is not a promise to pay, that is the reason ₹1 note is printed by Government of India and not by the Reserve Bank of India. So see here we are having the two notes. One note is of ₹1 denomination and the other note is of ₹2 denomination. In this, if you see here, what I am trying to highlight, this thing, I promise to pay the bearer the sum of ₹2. This promise is called as promissory note, and this promise is made by the Reserve Bank of India. And who is taking the guarantee? It is guaranteed by the central government, and that is the reason this is not actually the money. This 2 rupee note is not money, but it is a promissory note, and that is the reason this guarantee is taken by the central government. And who is promising to pay this 2 rupees? This promise is made by the governor of the Reserve Bank of India. That is the reason these 2 rupee notes or any other note above 1 rupee denomination is printed by the Reserve Bank of India. If you check out the 1 rupee note, the 1 rupee note is having no promise, and here it is signed by the finance secretary under the Ministry of Finance. So this is the important point of distinction. And because as I told you all in the previous slide, this 1 rupee note is not a note, it is to be considered as coin in the form of paper, and here this is the coin, this is the normal coin, and this is the reason that 1 rupee note is minted and printed by the government of India under its finance ministry by finance secretary, and all the notes above 1 rupee is printed by the Reserve Bank of India. So if you want to see clearly the signatures, here you can see, here we are having the signature of the governor, here we are having the signature of the governor, if you see here the red circle, and here on 1 rupee note we are having the signature of the finance secretary under Ministry of Finance. So this is the main point of distinction. So remember friends, the first point, monopoly over the issue of currency notes matlab means ella notegalu, note andre as I told you all, promissory note is printed by the Reserve Bank of India. Only the currency of India, that is rupee, is printed by the government of India. So why finance secretary has the power to sign and not the prime minister or the finance minister, president of India? Because finance secretary is the permanent executive to the government. So you can see he is the permanent executive, whereas prime minister irbodu, finance minister irbodu ಅಥವಾ president irbodu, they are having a specific time limit. It may be 5 years or 6 years, not beyond that. That is the reason they are not permanent in the government, but the finance secretary is the permanent executive. That is why the finance secretary signs the 1 rupee note. Friends, in India, the Reserve Bank of India issues the notes on the basis of minimum reserve system, Kanishta Meesalu Nidhi. So under minimum reserve system, the Reserve Bank of India has with it a deposit of rupees 200 crores. This 200 crore deposits forms the minimum reserve, which has been divided into two parts. So this 200 crores are in the form of 115 crore rupees of gold plus foreign securities worth rupees 85 crores. So 115 plus 85 crores together becomes 200 crores, and on the basis of this minimum reserve system of 200 crores, the Reserve Bank of India prints the currency notes. The second function of the Reserve Bank of India is Sarkara the Banko. The Reserve Bank of India acts as a banker to the government. Not only as a banker to the government, it acts even as an advisor to the government, as well as it acts as an agent of the government. In what way the Reserve Bank of India acts as a banker to the government, agent to the government, and advisor to the government? So here it conducts all the businesses of government, such as keeping cash balances as deposits, receiving the payments on behalf of the government, and making payments on behalf of the government. All this task is conducted by the Reserve Bank of India. It may be the central government or the state governments. It represents the government of India as the member of IMF and the World Bank, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. The next function is Reserve Bank also acts as bankers bank and lender of last resort. Friends, normally this particular point is divided into 2 points in textbooks. One is Reserve Bank acts as a bankers bank, and the next point is Reserve Bank acts as the lender of last resort. But here I have clubbed both the points into one point. Bankugalu banku mattu antima runadata. So why is it so? The Reserve Bank is a banker to all other banks. It means that all the banks will have to keep compulsorily an account of it with the Reserve Bank of India. So as we keep account with the savings bank account or fixed deposit account with commercial banks, in the same way commercial banks are having all the accounts, their accounts with Reserve Bank of India. So every commercial bank has to maintain a part of its cash reserves with the RBI. Compulsorily, statutorily, it is been made mandatory that whatever deposits the commercial banks receive, a part of that deposits has to be kept with the Reserve Bank of India. Friends, if there is any problem with the commercial banks, it may be if they lose their money because of theft or any uncertain or unseen emergencies, at that time the Reserve Bank of India acts as lender of last resort. Any financial emergency faced by the commercial banks, any financial crisis faced by the commercial banks can look up to the Reserve Bank of India, and that is the reason it is called as Antima Runadata. ಏನರು ಏನಾರೇ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಬಂತು ಕಮರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಹತ್ರ ಹಣ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಅವರು ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗಿ ಅವರು ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳನ್ನು ಬಗೆಹರಿಸಬಹುದು. Next point is, it also acts as a custodian of foreign exchange reserves. What does it mean? ವಿದೇಶಿ ವಿನಿಮಯದ ಮೇಲ್ವಿಚಾರಕ. So here the Reserve Bank of India maintains the foreign exchange reserves of the government of India. All the foreign currencies which enters in the country is to be maintained by or is maintained by the Reserve Bank of India. All those who earn foreign exchange have to hand it over to the Reserve Bank of India, and all those who need foreign exchange has to get it from the Reserve Bank of India. This is the reason it is called as custodian of foreign exchange reserve. Any exporter who is exporting the goods and earning foreign exchange athwa foreign currency, he is not allowed to keep that foreign currency with him. That foreign currency athwa foreign exchange is deposited in RBI, and the amount with the amount of that foreign exchange in terms of rupees is handed over to the exporters. In the same way, if there is an importer, if he wants to make payments to the foreign country, he has to take that foreign currency from Reserve Bank of India, and Reserve Bank of India through the commercial banks makes the payment on behalf of the importer to the foreign nationals. This system in international economics is called as exchange control, which will be studying when we study, which we have studied when we have studied international economics, the system of exchange control. Friends, for your information, at present the total foreign exchange reserves held by RBI is 4,74,660 billion dollars. This is as on 3rd April 2020. So Reserve Bank of India has a huge reserves of foreign exchange currency, 4,74,660 billion dollars. The next point is, Reserve Bank of India is also called as leader of money market, ಹಣದ ಮಾರುಕಟ್ಟೆಯ ನಾಯಕ. Reserve Bank of India overlooks all the activities that is happening in the money market. So it controls everything that is happening in the money market. As you know, our markets, financial markets are broadly divided into money market and capital market. In capital market, we are having primary market and secondary market. In money market is that market where all short term borrowings and lendings takes place. So in the form of treasury bills, or it may be in the form of certificate of deposits and all those things. So entire activities of money market is controlled by the Reserve Bank of India. Next one is controller of credit. So what do you mean by controller of credit? Pattu nirmanada niyantraka. So here friends, commercial banks have the power to create credit. What does it mean? Every deposit in the commercial bank, the new deposit, which is called as primary deposit, creates credit. That is, it creates secondary deposits, because of which the money supply in the economy increases. So commercial banks, through their power to give loans, can create credit, and this creation of credit leads to increase in money supply, and whenever the money supply in the economy increases, it leads to inflation. So normally commercial banks, it may be there were different types, different commercial banks, private commercial banks and nationalized or public sector banks. So public sector banks such as it may be SBI or SBI subsidiaries, it can be private banks such as ICICI Bank. All these banks, they give loans, and these loans create credit, and that is what is called as credit creation by commercial banks. Reserve Bank of India has the power to control this credit creation. So Reserve Bank of India controls the volume of credit of the commercial banks. It can make the commercial banks to lend more or less. So commercial banks power to give more loans or to reduce the amount of loans is controlled by the Reserve Bank of India. So we'll understand about this function in detail in our next part, that is in monetary policy. So in monetary policy, I'll explain in detail how the credit is controlled by the Reserve Bank of India. Our next function is additional functions or development functions. Friends, Reserve Bank of India helps in agricultural finance, कृषि अभिवृद्धि के साला. So Reserve Bank of India has its section for agriculture finance, which is called as NABARD, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. It helps in providing agricultural finance for agriculture development. It has also helps in the development of industrial activities by providing industrial finance, Kaigarika Sala. So here the RBI has established Industrial Finance Corporation, IFC, for providing finances for industrial development, and also the Industrial Development Bank of India is a subsidiary of RBI which takes care of industrial development by providing industrial finance. And in other functions, the Reserve Bank of India has various departments which takes care of research. It provides all the statistics, relevant statistics with regard to what is the situation of money supply in the India, the various types of money supply, M1, M2, M3, M4. It also gives the situation of what situation of consumer price index, what is the status, wholesale price index, what is the status, and it publishes the reports from time to time. So these reports, this research statistics helps the policy makers to plan about the economic policy, monetary policy, and fiscal policy. So friends, with this we complete the first part, that is Reserve Bank of India and the functions of Reserve Bank of India. The next is monetary policy, Hanakasu Niti. So normally this is a very important section from the examinations point of view. You may get a 15 marks question with regard to explain the various tools of monetary policy in India. So what do you mean by monetary policy? Friends, monetary policy refers to a regulatory policy whereby the central bank maintains its control over the supply of money. As I told you in the introduction part, whenever we speak about monetary policy, it is with regard to controlling the supply of money. When I told you about credit creation, ಪತ್ತು ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ಪತ್ತು ನಿರ್ಮಾಣದಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತದೆ, ಹಣದ ಪೂರೈಕೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಈ ಹಣದ ಪೂರೈಕೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾದರೆ ಹಣದುಬ್ಬರ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಬರ್ಬೋದು, ಈ ಹಣದ ಪೂರೈಕೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದರೆ ಹಣ ಪ್ರಸರಣ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಇದರ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ ಈ ಹಣದ ಪೂರೈಕೆಯನ್ನು ನಿಯಂತ್ರಿಸಲುವಾಗಿ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಏನು ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸುತ್ತದೆ, ಹಣಕಾಸಿನ ನೀತಿ. ಸೊ ಮಾನಿಟರಿ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲಿಂಗ್ ದ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಆಫ್ ಮನಿ. So when you speak about the objectives of monetary policy, broadly speaking, the three main objectives of monetary policy is, the first one is price stability, antarik ಬೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಥಿರತೆ. So price stability refers to, again as I told you all, they should not be inflation nor they should be deflation. So the prices should be stable. So one of the main objective of monetary policy is to control the prices, the general price level in the economy, or to control the general price level in the markets. And the next objective is economic growth. So economic growth refers to increase in the national income of the country. The rate of growth of national income leads to economic growth. So through proper monetary policy, the economic growth momentum can be sustained. And lastly, one of the other important objective of monetary policy is exchange rate stability, ವಿದೇಶಿ ವಿನಿಮಯ ದರದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಥಿರತೆ. ಸೊ ವಿದೇಶಿ ವಿನಿಮಯ ದರದಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಥಿರತೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಬೇಕಂದರೆ, ನಾವು ಏನು ರಫ್ತು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಆಮದು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಇದರಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮದು ವಿದೇಶಿ ವಿನಿಮಯ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ, ಸಂಗ್ರಹಣೆ ಏನಿದೆ, ಅದು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತೈತಿ. ಸೊ ಅದ್ರ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ರೇಟ್ ಸ್ಟೇಬಲ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ರಫ್ತು ಮತ್ತು ಆಮದು ಸಲುವಾಗಿ ರಫ್ತುಗಾರರಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ಆಮದುಗಾರರಿಗೆ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ ಇರ್ತೈತಿ. ಅವ್ರು ಎಷ್ಟು ರಫ್ತು ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ವಿದೇಶಿ ವಿನಿಮಯ ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತೈತಿ ಅಥವಾ ಸಿಗುತ್ತದೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಎಷ್ಟು ಆಮದು ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತೈತಿ. ಸೊ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಸ್ಟೆಬಿಲಿಟಿ, ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ರೇಟ್ ಸ್ಟೆಬಿಲಿಟಿ, These are the three important objectives of monetary policy. Now the question is, how does the Reserve Bank of India controls the supply of money? So for this we will be understanding about the various instruments of monetary policy. Friends, this part, instrument of monetary policy, we can see it in three ways. Please remember, the first part can be instruments of monetary policy. The same thing can be asked in the form of what are the various instruments of controlling inflation. The same thing can be asked in another way, what are the various instruments of credit control. So instruments of monetary policy, instruments of credit control, or instruments of or methods of controlling inflation. All these three parts, three questions have the same answer. So when you speak about instruments of monetary policy, we are having two types of instruments or two types of methods. One is quantitative instruments, ಪರಿಮಾಣಾತ್ಮಕ ವಿಧಾನಗಳು. What do you mean by quantitative instruments? Quantitative instruments influence the money volume and credit supply in the economy. Please see here, mark the word quantitative instruments influence the money volume and credit supply in the system, whereas qualitative instruments, ಗುಣಾತ್ಮಕ ವಿಧಾನಗಳು, qualitative instruments are also called as selective instruments which affect the direction of credit supply. ಈಗ ಏನಿದು ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ಮತ್ತು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್? ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಮನಿ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ಹಣಕಾಸು ಹಣ ನಮ್ಮದು ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು? ದಿಶಾ ನಿರ್ಧಾರಕ. ಸೊ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೂಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತದೆ ಆರ್ ಬಿ ಐ? ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಯೋರ್ ಪ್ಯಾರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಗಿವ್ ಯು ಪಾಕೆಟ್ ಮನಿ. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಯೋರ್ ಪ್ಯಾರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ಯು ಪಾಕೆಟ್ ಮನಿ ಆಫ್ 100 rupees and next month they realize that you are not using your 100 rupees properly, you are wasting it, then they will decide that your pocket money will be reduced from 100 rupees to 50 rupees. So what has happened to your volume? It has reduced from 100 rupees, it has reduced to 50 rupees. So this is what is your quantity has been affected. They are called as quantitative instruments. And the qualitative instruments, what they do? The Reserve Bank of India gives the direction. ಅಂದರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ಯಾರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಈ 100 rupees ನೀವು ತಗೋರಿ, ಈ 100 rupees ಒಳಗೆ ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪೆಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮದೆಲ್ಲ ಚಾಕ್ಲೇಟ್ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕೊಡೋಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ಯಾರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ನೀವು ಈ 100 rupees ಪಾಕೆಟ್ ಮನಿ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ qualitative instruments or selective instruments. So in terms of Reserve Bank of India, what it does is, first thing, in quantitative instruments it tries to control the volume of money with the commercial banks. In qualitative instruments it tries to control the way the commercial banks should use the money. So let us understand one by one in detail the various instruments that comes under quantitative measures and qualitative credit control measures. So again I am telling you friends, quantitative measures to control credit, quantitative instruments of monetary policy, or quantitative measures of controlling inflation. All these points are the same. So let us start with quantitative credit control measures. So first one is bank rate. What do you mean by bank rate? Bank daru, it is also called as bank rate policy, BRP, bank dara niti. Illi enaguttade? First of all, what is bank rate? The rate of interest at which the central bank lends money to commercial banks is called bank rate or discount rate. ನಾವು ಕಮರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗಿ ಲೋನ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಕಮರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ನಮ್ಮ ರೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಗಳು ಏನಿದ್ದಾವೆ, ಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ವಾಣಿಜ್ಯ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಗಳು ಏನಿದ್ದಾವೆ, ಈ ವಾಣಿಜ್ಯ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಗಳು ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗಿ ಸಾಲ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಏನು ರೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ರೇಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ರೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ at which the central bank, that is the Reserve Bank of India, gives loan to the commercial banks is called bank rate. Now see here how it is an instrument to control the supply of money. Friends, a change in bank rate affects money and credit supply. ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ರೇಟ್ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದರೆ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈನು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತದೆ, ಅದರಿಂದ ಹಣದ ಪೂರೈಕೆ ಸುಧಾ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತದೆ. ನಾವು ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸಿ, ಸಪೋಸ್ if the bank rate increases, what will happen? If there is an increase in bank rate, it will lead to increase in the charges, ಅಥವಾ borrowing by banks become costly. ಸೊ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ರೇಟ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಅದು ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆದರೆ ಅದರಿಂದ ಕಮರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಬಾರೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಆದ, ಅದರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತದೆ, ಕಮರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸಿಗೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತಾರೆ, ಸೊ ಅವ್ರ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿನ ಲೋನ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ತಾಯಿದೆ, ಆ ಭಾರ, ಆದ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್, ಆದ ಬರ್ಡನ್ ಅವರು ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಮತ್ತು ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ತಮ್ಮದು ರೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಲೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ರೇಟ್ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಸಿ ಆಲ್ ದ 3 ಆ್ಯರೋಸ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್. ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ರೇಟ್ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಅದರಿಂದ ಕಮರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಬೋರೋ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಕಮರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಬೋರೋ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಅದ್ರ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ ಅವರು ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಲೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ರೇಟ್ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದರ ಪರಿಣಾಮ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತದೆ, ಇದರಿಂದ ನಾವು ಹೋಗಿ ವಾಣಿಜ್ಯ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗಿ ಲೋನ್ಸ್ ಏನು ತಗೋತೀವಿ, ಸಾಲ ಏನು ತಗೋತೀವಿ, ಆ ಸಾಲದ ಬೇಡಿಕೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಲೋನ್ಸ್ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸಸ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದ ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಲೋನ್ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸಸ್, ಅದರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತದೆ, ದೇರ್ ಈಸ್ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ಮನಿ ಸಪ್ಲೈ. So when the money supply decreases, automatically it will help in controlling the inflation in the economy. So this is what the first part of quantitative credit control measures, and that is bank rate. So bank rate ಹೆಚ್ಚಾದರೆ ಕಮರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಬೋರಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ತೈತಿ, ಅದರಿಂದ ಅವರು ರೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಏನು ಜನರಿಗೆ ಇಂಪೋಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅದು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದರಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮದು ಸಾಲದ ಬೇಡಿಕೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತದೆ, ಅದರಿಂದ ಅವ್ರ ಪತ್ತು ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತದೆ ಮತ್ತು ಹಣದ ಪೂರೈಕೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಮೇಜರ್ ಅಥವಾ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೂಮೆಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ಸ್, ಮುಕ್ತ ಮಾರುಕಟ್ಟೆ ಕಾರ್ಯಾಚರಣೆ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ OMO? In OMO, open market operation refers to buying and selling of government securities by RBI. ಇಲ್ಲಿ RBI ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತದೆ, ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟೀಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಆ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟೀಸ್ ಬಾಯ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಮತ್ತು ಸೆಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆ ನಡೀತೈತಿ. ದ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟೀಸ್ ಟು ಕಮರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟು ದ ಜನರಲ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್. ಈಗ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಇನ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ಲಿ ಥ್ರೂ ದಿಸ್. ಸೊ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ನಮ್ಮ ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹಣದುಬ್ಬರದ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಇದೆ, ಮತ್ತು ಈ ಹಣದುಬ್ಬರದ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ನಿಯಂತ್ರಿಸಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಇದರ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ ಪ್ರಕಾರದ ರೋಲ್ ಪ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡುತ್ತದೆ ನೋಡೋಣ. ಸೊ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತದೆ, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಸೆಲ್ ದ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟೀಸ್. ಸೊ ಯಾರು ಸೆಲ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತದೆ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟೀಸ್, ಆಸ್ ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಯು ಆಲ್, ದ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ can sell the government securities to commercial banks and the general public. So here comes the general public. So Reserve Bank of India sells the securities to the public. So ಇದರ ಬದಲಿ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಜನರಿಗೆ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾಗೆ ಏನು ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತದೆ, ಸೊ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟೀಸ್ ಅವ್ರು ಬಾಯ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಅದ್ರ ಬದಲಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಪೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತೈತಿ. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಪೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ದೇ ಪೇ ದ ಮನಿ. ಸೊ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ the Reserve Bank of India to the people, and the people in turn are making the payments in terms of money. So all these things is leading to decrease in money supply. So friends, control of inflation ಮಾಡೋ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ, ಹಣದುಬ್ಬರ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಯನ್ನು ನಿಯಂತ್ರಣ ಮಾಡೋ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತದೆ, ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಭದ್ರತೆಗಳನ್ನು, ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟೀಸನ್ನು ಸೆಲ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತದೆ. ಇದು ಸೆಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಅದರ ಪರಿಣಾಮ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತದೆ, ಜನರಿಂದ ಹಣದ ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತದೆ, ಅದರಿಂದ ಹಣದ ಪೂರೈಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತದೆ, ಮತ್ತು ಅದರಿಂದ ಹಣದುಬ್ಬರವನ್ನು ನಾವು ನಿಯಂತ್ರಣ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಪ್ರೆಷನ್. ಅತಿ ಪ್ರಸನ್ನ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸೆಲ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಅನಪ್ರಸನ್ನ ಇದ್ದರೆ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತದೆ, ಸೇಮ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ ಸೇಮ್ ಫ್ಲೋ, ಬಟ್ ದ ಆ್ಯರೋಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್. ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಇದೆ, ಓಕೆ, ಜನರಲ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಇದೆ. ಈಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟೀಸ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಮಾಡೋಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಆರ್ ಬಿ ಐ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಬಿ ಐ ಬೈ ಮಾಡುತ್ತದೆ. ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ದ ಪೀಪಲ್, ಇಫ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಸೆಲ್ ದ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟೀಸ್, ಐ ಆಮ್ ರೆಡಿ ಟು ಬೈ. ಸೊ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟೀಸ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿಂದ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾಗೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತದೆ, ಬಟ್ ಇನ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಹಣ ಕೊಡುತ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಥರದ ಇಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತದೆ, ಪರಿಣಾಮ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತದೆ, ಜನರ ಹತ್ರ ಹಣದ ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಆರ್ಥಿಕ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹಣದ ಪೂರೈಕೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಸಿ ಹಿಯರ್, ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೇಷನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟೀಸ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೀವಿ, ಅದರಿಂದ ಹಣದ ಪೂರೈಕೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಡಿಫ್ಲೇಷನ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟೀಸ್ ಬೈ ಮಾಡುತ್ತದೆ, ಅದರಿಂದ ಜನರ ಹತ್ತಿರ ಹಣದ ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಿ ಹಣದ ಪೂರೈಕೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ಸ್. ದೆನ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್, ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ರೇಷಿಯೋ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು CRR ಎಂದು ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ರೇಷಿಯೋ? ಕಾಯ್ದೆತ್ತ ನಿಧಿಯ ಪ್ರಮಾಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿಸ್? Cash reserve ratio is a certain minimum percentage of deposits that the commercial banks have to hold as reserves with the central bank. ಅಂದರೆ ಏನರ್ಥ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಮರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಅವ್ರ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಹತ್ರ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಮತ್ತು ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಎಷ್ಟು ಟೋಟಲ್ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಆ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟ್ಸ್ ಒಂದು ಕನಿಷ್ಠ ಶೇಕಡಾವಾರು ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ಅವರು ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಹತ್ರ ಇಡಬೇಕು. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ CRR. Next is SLR, Statutory Liquidity Ratio, ಶಾಸನಬದ್ಧ ದ್ರವ್ಯತೆಯ ಅನುಪಾತ. What is this Statutory Liquidity Ratio? Statutory Liquidity Ratio or SLR is the minimum percentage of deposits that a commercial bank has to maintain with itself in the form of liquid cash, gold or other securities. So friends, the main point of difference between CRR and SLR is, in CRR the reserves are maintained with the central bank, and in SLR the reserves are maintained with itself. ಅಂದರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರನೇ ಅವರು ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಯಾವ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು? in the form of liquid cash, gold or other securities. So you will understand how CRR and SLR will play an important role in controlling the money supply or in controlling the in a situation of inflation and deflation. So I'll give you an example of understanding what is CR. We are having the Central Bank of India, that is the Reserve Bank of India. So as you know, Reserve Bank of India is the apex bank, and in functions of Reserve Bank of India we have seen RBI is bankers bank. ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು, ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮದು ವಾಣಿಜ್ಯ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಗಳು ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಹತ್ರ ಅವ್ರ ಒಂದು ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಈಸ್ ದ ಅಪೆಕ್ಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಮೇನ್ ಹೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ. ಸೊ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ and the various commercial banks. So in our example I have taken 5 banks: Bank A, Bank B, Bank C, Bank D and Bank E. There are many other banks, but for our convenience of understanding the CRR, how it works, I have just taken 5 banks. So all these 5 banks comes under Reserve Bank of India, and they are having a total deposit of 100 crore rupees each. It means Bank A has deposits of 100 crores. Similarly, all the other banks are also having 100 crore deposits. So friends, what are the total deposits in the entire banking system? So the total deposits will be 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus 100, that is 500 crores. So the total bank deposits in the financial system is rupees 500 crores. Now let us assume the cash reserve ratio is 3%. So what does it mean? It means that all the commercial banks have to keep 3% of their total deposits with RBI. So 3% of 100 crore is 3 crore rupees. So this 3 crore rupees all the commercial banks have to deposit with RBI. So you can see, so 3 crore rupees from each bank, so 3 into 5, So we are having 15 crore rupees of deposits kept with the Reserve Bank of India. So you can see when the CRR is 3%, reserves with RBI will be rupees 15 crore. So how much is left with the commercial banks now? 100 minus 3 crore, 97 crore rupees is left with the commercial banks, and this 97 crore rupees of 5 banks will be, the total volume will be 485 crores. So the commercial banks can give loans to the people worth rupees 485 crores. So if this is the situation, and if the Reserve Bank of India wants to control the credit creation of commercial banks, what it will do? ಅಂದರೆ ಈಗ 485 crore ಲೋನ್ ಕೊಡುವಷ್ಟು ನಮ್ಮ ವಾಣಿಜ್ಯ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕದ ಕ್ಷಮತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಈಗ ಇದರ ಮೇಲೆ ನಿಯಂತ್ರಣ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಇಷ್ಟು ಲೋನ್ ಕೊಡೋದು ಬೇಡ, ಇದರಿಂದ ಹಣದ ಪೂರೈಕೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗುತ್ತದೆ ಪತ್ತು ನಿರ್ಮಾಣದಿಂದ. ಸೊ ಪತ್ತು ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಬೇಕು, ಹಣದ ಪೂರೈಕೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಬೇಕು, ಮತ್ತು ಈ 485 crore rupees ಲೋನ್ ಕೊಡುವಷ್ಟು ಕ್ಷಮತಾ ಕಮರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಹತ್ರ ಇರಬಾರ್ದು. ಸೊ ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು? ಸೊ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್, if you see here, if you see in this slide, the present CRR is 3%. So if it wants to reduce the money supply, ಈ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು? ಈ CRR ಶೇಕಡ 3% ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮಾಡಿದರೆ, that is the cash reserve ratio, it has to increase. So let us say the cash reserve ratio now the Reserve Bank of India has made is 5%. So if the cash reserve ratio is 5%, what will happen next? So 100 crore rupees, 5% is 5 crore. So now the cash reserve ratio of 5%, with this the reserves with RBI will be rupees 25 crore. If the reserves with RBI is rupees 25 crore rupees, each bank, how much money it will have? Each bank will have 95 crore rupees with it. So 95 crore into 5, it will be 475 crores. So earlier ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು CRR 3% ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಎಷ್ಟು ಲೋನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡೋದು ಕ್ಷಮತಾ ಇತ್ತು ಕಮರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್? 485 crore ಲೋನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡೋ ಕ್ಷಮತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಈಗ CRR 3% ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಿ 5% ಆದರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕ್ಷಮತಾ ಆಗಿದೆ? ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. 485 crores ಇಂದ 475 crores ಆಗಿದೆ. ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲಿ ನೋಡಿದರೆ ಮೊದಲು ಏನಾಯಿತು ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್? ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ 97 crore. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ಹಿಯರ್ with 3% CRR, all the banks had the capacity to give loan of 97 crore. But when the CRR has become 5%, now the banks can give only 95 crore rupees. So through CRR, in the same way SLR also works. So through CRR, you can see the Reserve Bank of India is in a position to control credit creation of commercial banks, which in turn helps in controlling the money supply. It reduces the money supply in the economy, which in turn it helps in controlling the rate of inflation. So this is about CRR and SLR. The next part is qualitative credit control measures. We have come to the last section, another 5 minutes. So qualitative credit control measures. The first one is ಅಂಚಿನ ಅಗತ್ಯ ನಿರ್ಧಾರ, margin requirement. So under margin requirement, what happens? The commercial banks generally advance loans to their customers against some security or securities offered by the borrower and acceptable to the banks. And this, the commercial banks do not lend up to full amount of the security, but lend an amount less than its value. So here, if you go to a commercial banks and take a loan, let us say ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಆಭರಣಗಳು ಇದಾವೆ, ಓಕೆ, ಮತ್ತು ಅದರದ್ದು ಮೌಲ್ಯ 1 ಲಕ್ಷ ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಗೋ ಟು ದ ಕಮರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟೇಕ್ ದಿಸ್ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಗಿವ್ ಮೀ ಲೋನ್, the commercial banks will not give you loans of the full value of 1 lakh rupees. They will give you after reducing some margin. So let us say if the commercial banks have kept 10% as margin, you will get 10% less, that is 10,000 rupees less. 1 lakh rupees is the total value of your securities, you will be getting 90,000 rupees. So if the Reserve Bank of India wants to control the way they are using their loans, they will say you increase the margin, ಅಂಚಿನ ಅಗತ್ಯವನ್ನು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮಾಡ್ರಿ. So if the Reserve Bank of India increases, sorry, if the commercial bank of India, if the commercial banks in India increases the margin from 10% to 20%, now you will not be getting 90,000 rupees as loan, but you will be getting 80,000 rupees as loan, and this will lead to decrease in 10,000 rupees of money supply in the economy. This is margin requirement. So the margin requirements against specific securities are determined by the central bank. A change in margin requirement will influence the flow of credit. Next in is ನೈತಿಕ ಪ್ರೇರಣೆ, moral ಸೀಸನ್. ಅಂಡರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಆರ್ ಬಿ ಐ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತದೆ, ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ವಾಣಿಜ್ಯ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತದೆ, ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹಣದ ಪೂರೈಕೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಿಸಲುವಾಗಿ ಪತ್ತು ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಿಯಂತ್ರಣ ಮಾಡಿರಿ. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ moral ಸೀಸನ್. It is nothing to do with any measure, but it is just a request. Next is rationing of credit, ಸಾಲದ ಪಡಿತರ. So rationing of credit is a method by which the central bank seeks to limit the maximum amount of loans and advances. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತದೆ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ, ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಕಮರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತದೆ, ನೀವು ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಲೋನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡೋದು ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಲಿಮಿಟ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಆ ಲಿಮಿಟ್ ದಾಟಿ ಲೋನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡೋದು ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಇರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ರ್ಯಾಷನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಷನ್. ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಅಪೋಸಿಟ್ ಆಫ್ moral ಸೀಸನ್. moral ಸೀಸನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತದೆ, ಆರ್ ಬಿ ಐ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತದೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ, ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ಯಾವುದೂ ಒಂದು ವಾಣಿಜ್ಯ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಬಿ ಐ ಕೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲ ಮತ್ತು ಪತ್ತು ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋದರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಲಾಭ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತದೆ ಆರ್ ಬಿ ಐ, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಷನ್. ಯಾವ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಷನ್ ತಗೋಬೋದು, ದಂಡಗಳನ್ನು ಹಾಕ್ಬೋದು, ಫೈನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಪೆನಾಲ್ಟೀಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಇಂಪೋಸ್, ಅಥವಾ ಆ ವಾಣಿಜ್ಯ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಸಾಲ ಕೊಡೋದಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಅವ್ರ ಬಿಲ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದು ರೀಡಿಸ್ಕೌಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡೋಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ದ ಪವರ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ action against the commercial banks. So these are all the points that comes under monetary policy of. So you saw today we have understood about the various functions of RBI. Functions in the form of monopoly in the issue of currency notes, banker to the government, bankers bank, custodian of foreign exchange reserves, controller of credit creation, leader of money market. Along with that, we also seen the developmental functions such as providing agricultural finance, providing industrial finance, providing research and statistics to the general people for policy making to the government. After that, we also understood what is monetary policy. Under monetary policy, we have seen the different tools that are used. It may be quantitative credit control measures and qualitative credit control measures. Under quantitative credit control measures, we are having one is bank rate policy, the other is open market operations, cash reserve ratio, and statutory liquidity ratio. After that, in qualitative credit control measures, we have seen margin requirement, we have seen rationing of credit, moral suzanne, direct action, and all those things. So friends, with this I come to an end of our topic Reserve Bank of India and monetary policy. Do well, all the best, and please stay at home. Hope so you have understood today's lecture about RBI. If there are any doubts, you are most welcome to ask the questions in the comment section on Google Classroom, or you can personally contact me on WhatsApp. Take care, all the best.